List basics. So list is like a variable. The list is a container which can hold similar type of values or dissimilar type of values. Like you can also store integer, float, character, string, everything together in a list or a container. So let's see the use of list here. Okay, well, let me run the program and then we will see what happens. Um, okay, well, let's see. First, how to create a list. Let's suppose we are creating a list which is not having anything inside it initially. So this is empty list. Now let's say we just want to print the empty list. So for this it is printing only the square brackets without having any element inside it. Now creating the list with the use of a string. So let's suppose in the list variable list here we are trying to add one value named as hello, which is a string, and when we try to print the list it should print the hello within it. Now let's create this list along with having multiple values in it. Let's suppose there's three strings to be added to the list. Now next, after this list has been initialized with all these three values together, if we want to try print hello 1, which is the first element in the list, it should be written like this: the list variable name and which index contains hello 1. Now suppose we want to print the world, so here the indexes are reference like this: hello 1 in 0, 4 in 1, and world in 2. So if you write list of 2, it should reference to the value world here. So that's why it is printing hello 1 and world um, for these two print statements. Now within a list we are having multiple elements, but we are creating the list in a multi-dimensional way. So what is multi-dimensional again? So here this list contains actually two elements, this one and world one. So here again hello 2 4 is considered as one, as a separate list inside this list. So this is called a multidimensional list. So when you try to initialize the list like this and again you try to print it, it should be printed as it is shown here. So hello 2 and 4 is in one list and world 1 is in one list. So now if you try to access hello 2 in this first list, you should refer to the index 0 and 4 in 1. But as a whole, if you consider this all the three elements in this list, so here hello 2 and 4 should be indexed by 0 and world 1 should be indexed by 1. Now, can we create a list with having duplicate values in it? Yes, we can. As you see, 4 has been duplicated, 3 has been is occurring 3 times. Then you try to print the list, and you can also access the list with having duplicate values in it. Then can we maximize the list with different type of elements, numbers, characters, strings? Yes, we can. Here is one example. And when you to print the list, simply use the list variable name to print the list. Now can we modify the list elements? So here in the list which is having all this set of elements, so let's say you try to modify the third um, location in the list, that is hellos. So what is the index of this list? So that is 2. Why? 1 should be indexed with 0, 2 should be indexed with 1, and hello should be indexed with 2. So if you write a list of 2 should be overridden by 56, 56 goes to list 2 and hellos will be removed with having 56 overridden on it. So now the new list, if you want to print this after modifying it, then you will find in the third position rather than hellos you have 56 in it. Let me close it. Now let's move on and Okay, now see this example with having some list functions. Okay, so now let's see. First, we are creating the blank list, empty list like this. Now we are trying to add 1, 2, and 4, three elements into the empty list. So how do you write the function? You will use the append function for inserting or adding individual elements into the list. So after addition or execution of these three instructions or append function, the final list will contain all these three elements that you see. Now creating a different the list with all this set of elements, and now we are trying to remove separate elements from the list using the remove method. So if in the list you are having all this set of elements, so initial list is like this. Now you want to remove 4, simply just mention what element you want to remove in the remove function. So list after removal, you will not find the element 4 inside it. 4 has been removed. Now if you want to execute remove 10, you will also want to find the element 10 in the list as well. Now removing the element from the set using the pop method. Now pop. So pop does what? It pops the element in the front position from the list. So list after popping the element, simply you don't have to mention any element name in some or element value in it. Just simply use the pop and it pops the front element from the list. So it pops the one and gives you the list with the rest of the values. Okay, now this is done with all these methods. Let's see some of the sequence type function. So different sequence type functions are provided in this table. So go into the details of this functions here. You will find the length of the list through this length function. For concatenation, we use this format, finding out the minimum, finding out the maximum sum of all the elements in the list. Now, if you want to find the index of a particular value in the list, you will write like this. And if you want to find out the count, I mean how many times the value is occurring inside the list, so for that you will use the count function. Let's see this child activity, student grade statistics. So if you go see the program, it says it will calculate some information regarding the final and midterm scores. So we need to enhance the program by calculating the average midterm and final scores. This portion of the code has been already given to you from looking at this. And here you will find the use of the min and max functions as well. So it says to find out the average, midterm average and final average scores. So how do you write it? The midterm average can be counted by adding all the midterm scores that have been um, found out here from this list. After adding them, just divided by 9, total how many number of midterm scores are there. Then you just try to print it and it shows here in the output. Now final average, like that, just add all the final scores and divide it by 7, then you calculate the final average. This is how the sequence function will be used in the list.